Well, hello and welcome to this week's edition of CMX Power Players. These are the people that are driving our industry. And today it's my pleasure to welcome Jessica Velazquez from Beach Fleishman. Jessica is a CPA, financial and business guru, social justice advocate. Her tax and accounting knowledge comes from public accounting with PricewaterhouseCoopers, RSM, and Ernst Young. And then also she has finance and operational experience from working with Zappos and the Cosmopolitan of Las Vegas. In 2016, she switched her career focus to cannabis and founded Indiva Advisors. That's of course when we met, Jessica, as you had Indiva at the time, but then of course Indiva got acquired by Beach Fleishman. And so now you head up the cannabis practice for Beach Fleishman. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right, Mike.
Cool. And I just want to throw in too that, you're a child of immigrants who moved to the United States for a better life. And so you spent your over 20-year career really advocating for women and minority business owners. And that you're also heavily involved also with the AICPA, the American Institute of CPAs, and the National Association of Tax Professionals. Welcome, Jessica Velazquez. Great to have you.
Mike, thanks so much for that kind introduction, and thank you and CMX for having me today. It's a pleasure to be here.
Cool. Well, so let's get right into it. So tell me, how did you get into cannabis? What sort of brought you into the industry?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, I am the founder of a boutique CPA firm, Indiva Advisors, that started business really back in 2015. I'm based here in Las Vegas. At the time, we had a medical marijuana market here that was really taking off. And prior to that, I had spent some time really just researching cannabis. This was a year after we legalized in Colorado and Washington and Oregon. And it kind of hit me. It was a light bulb moment when I realized the train has left the station. We have now started legalization of cannabis in a true marketplace with regulations and systems in which we can do commerce within the industry. And frankly, that was kind of the life-changing moment for me. I had always been a huge proponent of the plant. I grew up in a neighborhood that was decimated by this, war on drugs that completely failed us. And one of my brothers was also incarcerated for possession of marijuana. And I saw the direct impact it had on him. And so for all of those reasons, I knew that I wanted to really step into this industry. It was something I felt like I could have an opportunity to shape what it was and what it was going to be. And from a practical matter, Mike, I just really knew that there wasn't enough practitioners, and I will say more technical practitioners back in 2015 that were gung-ho about assisting the cannabis industry from the ground up. I always joke and I say maybe it was still aiding and abetting back in 2014, 2015 when the regulations were just coming out and we're trying to put this industry to where it is today.
So it's really gone from aiding and abetting to regulatory compliance, right?
Absolutely. Just like I would say any vice industry that we've seen in our history.
Right.
And it's been an incredible run. This last decade has really, kind of shaped how I also see, heavily regulated industries and, how they come to be in a true marketplace. We'll maybe touch on this a little bit later, but frankly, we're not even at the point where we have interstate commerce, right? So
Right.
we haven't really seen the full view of the industry. Maybe we're not too far from that, given sort of where rescheduling is going. But yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think that it does remain to be seen whether rescheduling is going to provide for interstate commerce, right? Maybe not.
I don't believe how it's currently going to be, administered under Schedule 3 with medical marijuana or medical cannabis only. What I'm hearing is that still doesn't allow for interstate commerce. Or maybe further down the line, Mike, right, where we see cannabis legalization truly at a federal level, both medical and adult use.
Descheduling, right?
There you go.
That's what we need.
Descheduling, again, potential rescheduling of it all could have a real shape or effect on interstate commerce and even commerce outside of the U.S. And global commerce. So, we'll see.
So, and are you working in all the different or most of the different states? I'm clear you're out of Nevada, so but are you working in the other big markets?
Yeah, we have clients in over 20 states in the cannabis and hemp industry. That really is how Indiva grew and built over the last decade. We started here in the West, here in our home state of Nevada, but slowly picking up clients across the U.S. and certainly going east as legalization went across the Rockies, so to speak. So, we've had the pleasure of working with small, large, single license, multi-license, multi-location operators across various states. And we still do. And so that's something, again, I'm really happy and thankful for all of our clients that have, stood with us and still operating today.
And is that primarily license holders, or do you also, I'm assuming you probably also have service providers, ancillary service providers, or is it primarily license holders?
Yeah, great question. We really service the ecosystem, Mike. So I would say license holders, investors, the owners of those licenses, as well as ancillary businesses that really revolve around the industry. We also service, associations and nonprofits that service the industry as well and support it. So again, I come back to the ecosystem. That's really our focus in cannabis because no one part of the supply chain does it on its own. And having sort of that ecosystem in our client base and profile gives us a viewpoint of many different areas within the industry. And we bring all of that knowledge back to our clients.
And I think there's certainly a perception out there from what I've seen and read that it's pretty difficult to be profitable as a license holder still. That most cannabis brands and maybe less so hemp brands, but now we've got the ban coming up. Seems like there are a lot of companies that are specifically license holders that are struggling to be profitable. Is that still the case?
I would say it is the case. For certainly some of that middle tier group where they're out of maybe startup and into that growth mode, and they start losing some of the synergies and have to scale, right? And so that it involves more investment on their side to get to the growth side of the cycle. And let's not kid ourselves, right? We have a lot of regulatory type of costs that are not, that other businesses or other industries don't have to undertake. And even changes within those regulations that, incur additional costs that we hadn't planned for. Obviously the big elephant in the room is always 280E and the impact the current taxation system has on cannabis operators. So they're not as profitable, I would say, compared to, let's say, other industries in those same sort of growth or tier groups. But I also do have operators and clients that are profitable. And I would share that some of their successes come from staying lean, really understanding their numbers,
Of vertical integration too? Is vertical integration kind of an important
It can be.
determinant?
Yeah, it certainly can be. It helps the margins, that's for sure, right? Because you can control your own product cost or have more
Right.
control over your product cost. But that doesn't necessarily mean that's the only, type of company I see being profitable. Again, I would say the three things that are key characteristics of the profitable ones is they stay lean, meaning they start small. We all have these grandiose ideas of what the business should be and want to get there very fast. That requires a lot of capital and a lot of investment really fast. And so I would say our profitable clients and operators understand that that's the long game, and they have to, operate small and start cash flowing to continue to fund those growth cycles. And so they stay lean, they stay small. I would say another characteristics is the owners are heavily involved in operations. They don't really outsource their work. They're hands on. They roll up their sleeves. They get into the weeds of the business, and they have a real sense of what's going on in operations, which gives them the ability to pivot and make quicker decisions if it's impacting profitability. And then lastly, I would say that the characteristic common amongst them is they make time to work on the business. This includes strategy, like really stepping back and having a good sense of where their business stands against their peers and the marketplace. Most operators generally wear a ton of hats, as we know. And so they're constantly working in the business. And yes, that's one of the characteristics I mentioned. But in addition, again, working on the business requires you to step back, take a look at what it is honestly, and using the data points that you have around you to make business decisions, smarter business decisions, not this sort of gut feeling that I think a lot of folks use when they don't look at the numbers or don't really look at the data points.
Well, I was going to ask you about the challenges that face the industry, but I think that's really what you're talking about here. But back to 280E, is 280E impacted by rescheduling? Is that included in rescheduling?
Yeah. I mean, specific for the current order that came down that officially rescheduled medical marijuana from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3. I mean, 280E is not applicable anymore. That's one of the benefits that we get with rescheduling. It's, 280E applies to Schedule 1 and 2. So Schedule 3 completely eliminates the burden of 280E on cannabis operators. But
it only applies to medical and not recreational, right?
That's correct, Mike.
Recreational is in effect still Schedule 1.
That's correct.
Got it.
Yeah, so relief to some degree. And we've also received guidance that it will be treated retroactively back to January 1st of 2026 for those medical operators. Now get the relief in Schedule 3. So again, more good news. But we're missing the big elephant, right? Which is adult use recreational sales, which is the majority of cannabis commerce in today's marketplaces.
Sure. And what is the latest, the status on Schedule 3? Is it actually, because it's really managed by the DEA, right? So is it actually moving forward according to schedule?
It was enacted, so it is official. It's in the register as of today. So it is official. That's not to say it's not being litigated in courts, and that we're not going to see some more legal action against
Right.
it, reverse it, etc. But as of today, as of this podcast, it is effective, and that is the law of the land right now.
So it's in place now.
That's
Okay.
correct.
And then there's that whole registration process that everybody's talking about.
Maybe that is one of the challenges, Mike, that I haven't covered. I know we're getting questions and certainly, deferring our clients to talk to their attorneys and folks more experts in this area. But the question is, do we register with the
Right.
So I know that has some folks, keeping them up at night, if that's the move or not the move for them to do. There's still so many unknowns. I mean, this is a brand new playbook that is in the writing of this industry. And so I think there's still a lot yet to be unseen. And we just got to play this out and see how it works in our favor. One of the other big challenges, though, I'll add, is just cash flow.
Right.
Since its inception, this is a federally illegal plant and marketplace. And so we're challenged with having access to traditional financing and banking options like every other industry. Most of the industry has been bootstrapped. A lot of family and friends money, and certainly a lot of investors that have taken the risk on the industry. But cash flow and access to traditional financing is, and I think will continue to be, one of the Achilles heel of the industry until we can really open that up for us.
So there's, as it turns out, there's really a second elephant. There's two elephants in the room. The other one is the hemp ban. What are you seeing with that? I know there's been some moves. There's various moves of trying to delay it or reverse it. I'm imagining you have clients on that side of the industry too.
We do have clients on this side, and it's been a conversation since last November when the order came down. Many have really, again, done the pivot that this industry is, I think, notorious for, right? We pivot and we move when we have to due to regulatory changes. This is no different. So we have clients that, have either completely left the product-based, world of hemp and now more focused, let's say, on hardware or distribution channels. Some have decided to officially apply for licensing in specific marketplaces where it makes sense for them. Some are shutting their doors down because the regulatory environment is extremely challenging and not known. There's so much going on right now from a litigation perspective to see if this is going to stick or not stick. See if we get an extension. I mean, there's a lot to be yet determined, and it's June. And this is going to be in effect if nothing happens come November.
Wow. That's so crazy. So much money involved there. And
Absolutely.
And tens of thousands of jobs too.
Absolutely. I mean, even now we are seeing states take their own position, either agreeing with the federal ban or disagreeing with the federal ban and changing their own state laws and regulatory environments to accommodate this industry that is bringing tens of thousands, if not millions of dollars in tax revenue to their states.
Yeah, I think the figure was that the Texas market alone was like 8 billion.
I gotta even say that's probably underestimated.
Probably. That's just reported.
Exactly.
Several thousand businesses and and billions of dollars. Yeah.
It was funny, just case in point, we were working with a client, putting up a tax restructure for their business based out of Texas late last year. And then the news came down in November, which completely just changed the trajectory of that project and, their thought process and decisions ultimately that they had to make.
Right.
It's a lot of lives impacted by that regulatory decision. I've heard in some conversations that was required. That was almost like a mandatory precursor to see medical cannabis get rescheduled to Schedule 3. So
to ban hemp.
Yep. So it was part of this bigger picture to align hemp and cannabis and the regulatory environments that govern them. How much truth to that, I couldn't say. But again, interesting sort of all of these things that have happened in the last 6-8 months related to the industry that have impactful circumstances for the business owners.
Well, we certainly know that the MSOs in particular, corporate cannabis, was very much behind the hemp ban. So it would make sense if there was some linkage. Wouldn't surprise me at all.
And surprise, surprise, we have one of the large MSOs, as of last week, I believe, listed now on the U.S. stock exchange.
Right.
I'm not.
Is that Curaleaf?
Trulieve.
Oh, Trulieve. Right.
I'm not a big fan, or I'm not a big believer, I should say, in coincidences.
Yeah.
So.
No such thing.
Yeah, how much of all of this is related, couldn't really say, but I don't think it's unrelated.
Yes. And of course, there are some schools of thought that say the whole rescheduling thing was really a lot about juicing the stock for these bigger players. But
we've been here before as an industry. This reminds me back of our maybe initial heydays of 2017, 2018, where all of the stocks were overvalued by a lot.
Yeah.
Not small numbers by any stretch, and we saw those quickly adjust going into tail end of 18, 19, and then
the green rush days.
You got it, Mike. Yeah, you remember.
Yep.
So the market has a way of course correcting itself. It's just a timing thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm super fascinated to see this new listing come on to the U.S. stock exchange, and this is going to go. Lots happening in the industry.
Yeah, big news. Well, so now that we've been laying out the various bleak pictures here, what's your advice? Well, I guess, maybe it's a two-part question. Do you see people still coming into the industry for the first time? And if so, what advice do you have for people looking at the cannabis industry? Is it, stay away, or what are you telling those people?
There's certainly new entrants always coming into the industry. It's a great industry. I mean, if it's your passion, if you have your purpose within the industry and see your place in it, come right in. We'll open up our arms to you and give you a lay of the land, and certainly all of the, I say, kind of nuggets of what we've learned already, so that you don't have to go through the hard stuff. But like any other industry, Mike, right? There's always new entrants coming in. This is a capitalistic environment that we're working in. And so I think people, kind of fail to recognize something that impacts all businesses, no matter what industry or what sector you come into. About 70 to 80% of businesses will fail in the first 3 years. And that's just a general statistic. That has nothing to do with cannabis. So, just having sort of that mindset, if you are
Having your eyes open at that level.
100%. And that's a very macro level, right? All the way sort of high level, big picture. Entrepreneurship is not easy by any stretch. Heavily regulated and a lot of checks and balances within the cannabis industry, and of course 280E if you're still operating in that adult use space.
That's the whole state by state thing, right? Every state's different compliance regime.
100%. So this industry has, in addition to that high level 70 to 80% of businesses don't make it past year 3, we also have these additional kind of nuances. So as long as you're coming into it with eyes wide open, as you said, having a full understanding of the risks that you're possibly going to undertake, I still think there's a lot of success to be had here. I'm a prime example of that. I built a practice focused on the industry. People thought it was crazy 10 years ago. When I said this is what I wanted to do and this was my passion and where I wanted to spend my time, I had a great exit. It's been a great run for me, and I love what I'm doing, and I love working with our clients and helping them along their journeys. So my advice is, again, eyes wide open, learn everything that you can about the industry. I say also, hear other people's stories, learn from others, right?
Yeah, that's the first lesson for entrepreneurs, right? Is keep your ears open.
Don't go through the tough lessons on your own. The industry, I think, has been welcoming to all, in my experience, and so find your tribe, find the networks that make sense for you, connect with them, talk honestly and openly. And I think ultimately that's what you'll get back. And, from the CPA finance perspective, know your numbers. Just know what the numbers are for your respective business. I always say the numbers tell a story. So are you listening? Are you paying attention to what the numbers are? This is where, again, no different than in any other industry, new entrepreneurs generally will put accounting or finance to the bottom of the pile, the bottom of the to-do, because it's just another thing to do. But the fact is that if you're prioritizing that aspect of your business, the numbers will tell you a story, good or bad, and that's your opportunity to make better business decisions. That, like I mentioned, is one of the characteristics of my profitable, successful clients that have been in this industry for a long time. They're on top of it. And I have the pleasure of just working alongside of them and being that ear for them.
Well, that's a good positive note to end on, I think. And this has been tremendously educational. So thank you so much for taking the time. And I think, we sort of talked about some of the negatives and areas of concern. And then, we ended up on a positive note. So, Jessica Velazquez, thank you so much for joining us on Power Players.
Mike, thanks again for having me. It's been a pleasure. And for all the listeners out there, don't chase the money, chase the passion, chase the dream. When you do it well, the money and the success follows you.
Excellent. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Take care.
As well.